Hello, welcome to the Sound of Science, the place where we deconstruct unscientific bogus and silly scams. Let's go get them. Please note that as of now, you can support the channel by becoming member using the join button under the video. Members can get access to special members-only badges, emojis, posts, polls, short videos and long-format videos. Thanks in advance. Now, let's play the video. Hello, you wonderful critical thinkers. Today I stumbled upon a video of a man called Eric Hernandez. He's some kind of Christian preacher, I suppose, making all kinds of God claims. And he made a video called The Biggest Lie Atheists Believe. Well, that got me interested. I'm an atheist. I don't like lies, and I don't want to believe them. So this might be important to me. Take it away, Eric.
And oftentimes in discussion, I usually get this really bad objection from atheists who say, there is no scientific evidence for God's existence, so I can't believe in him, I have to be an atheist.
Yes, Eric, that indeed is what many atheists will tell you. And although everyone can phrase for themselves why they do not believe the claim that a God exists, your description looks a lot like my position, which is there is no sufficient evidence that proves the existence of a God, and therefore I don't believe the claim that a God exists. All the supposed evidence as presented by theists is meaningless nonsense, like the old horrible storybook. Something cannot come from nothing. Look at the trees. The universe is fine-tuned for tardigrades and a lot. It's all nonsense that proves nothing. So yes, that is about the gist of it. And it seems like a darn good reason not to believe the claim that a God exists. And for the exact same reason, I don't believe the claim that Dracula, Bigfoot or Odin exists. So far, so good.
There is so much ridiculousness with this type of objection. First of all, this is a view of knowledge known as scientism, which is a view that the only way to truth is through science, and that everything outside of the realm of science is somehow just a subjective opinion or speculation or someone's belief.
Yeah, well done, Eric. That is pretty close to reality. Science is the most reliable method we have to determine what is true and what is not true. It has been tested 1,000,000 times, and it consistently produces very good results. There is no alternative method available that even comes close. So all general truth claims like vampires, wizards or gods exist that cannot be assessed by science are therefore just speculation, belief or delusion. The only way for you to seriously contest that view is to present a viable alternative method that produces better results than science. And that method would be, Eric?
Well, the problem with an objection like this is that, first of all, the question of God's existence is a philosophical question, not a scientific one.
No, that question can hardly be called philosophical. The question of the existence of vampires, wizards and gods is more of a question of fictional or imaginary existence, and it's also hardly an interesting question because the list of unproven characters is endless. The only thing that makes the question relevant is the large number of people who, despite the lack of evidence, still believe in gods, which is rapidly fading, by the way, in free, prosperous and democratic countries. Thank Gandalf for that.
Now you might think, well, Eric, I don't need philosophy, I have science.
No, Eric, that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, when is Eric going to present the lies he promised us in the title of his video? When is he going to prove that atheists believe those lies, and when is he going to present a reliable alternative model to replace science? I'm waiting.
Well, first of all, the problem with this kind of view is that it's self-defeating. What is self-defeating? Self-defeating is something like this. I've had atheists say, Eric, there is no truth.
Oh, come on, Eric. Don't choose the path of cheap, hollow fallacies that we can see coming from miles away. I've had an atheist saying there is no truth. That is a nonsense statement. For all we know, that conversation never took place. And even if an atheist had said that to you, it teaches us nothing about atheism, because there is no truth is not a claim that atheism makes. Atheism, in fact, makes no claims whatsoever. So usually, when you theists start one of your fake arguments with, I had an atheist say this, what you will do next is pretend that this supposed remark of this imaginary atheist represents atheism. and then you're going to discredit atheism for that supposed remark of that imaginary atheist. This, of course, is called the strawman argument fallacy. You're now going to attack a position that nobody ever took, and it proves nothing about atheism. Oh, please stop it, Eric. It's embarrassing.
Self-defeating is something like this. I've had atheists say, Eric, there is no truth. To which I ask, is that true? Because if what you just said is true and you just told me there's no truth and you just refuted yourself, it's self-defeating. So when someone says, I have science, I don't need philosophy, do you realize you are making a philosophical statement about the nature of science, and that is not a scientific statement? So by your own standard, you just proved yourself wrong. Congratulations.
Yeah, bravo. As was to be expected. This is so embarrassing, Eric. You just pretended to win an imaginary debate with a non-existing person by attacking a claim that nobody ever made and that has got nothing to do with atheism. That just was a total waste of time for you and your viewers. Can you please go back to the supposed lies that atheists supposedly believe? And maybe you can demonstrate your alternative investigative method that will replace science. Or are you going to try and feed us more of your rubbish?
Now let me clarify, because I can guarantee you in the comment section, someone's going to say, here's another Christian who doesn't understand science.
No, that's not the most urgent matter that should be put in the comments. What should be put in the comments is that you promised to tell us about the supposed biggest lie that atheists supposedly believe, and so far all you did was faking a debate by talking to yourself. Please show us that supposed lie that atheists supposedly believe.
I'm not saying that science is not advanced enough to answer the question of God's existence. I am literally saying it is metaphysically impossible to answer this question.
Then what reason do you have to believe in the existence of your God? You just said it's impossible to answer the question if a God exists. So then you have no clue if your God exists. Yet you choose to believe in him anyway. Do you apply the same logic to believing in vampires and wizards?
It's like saying, because a ruler can't measure my weight, I therefore have no weight. That is the equivalent of claiming that because there's no scientific proof for God's existence, then he doesn't exist.
No, that's totally not equivalent, because weight is proven to exist, and your God is not. If you want a real comparison, that would be that there is no scientific evidence to prove the existence of vampires and wizards, so there is no good reason to believe that they exist. I trust you agree with that. Or do you believe in vampires and wizards? Now please, apply the same logic to your God.
So if you're going to be an atheist, you have got to stop using these bad, asinine objections and stop using science as an excuse for your ignorance just because you cannot come up with a good rebuttal. Like, comment, share, and let's get this video out there so we can expose these bad, foolish, atheistic arguments that try to pose as actual good objections to God's existence.
Yes, I am going to bring your video out in the open, but it clearly exposes that you're kind of an idiot using a completely foolish argument that has been debunked 1,000 times on YouTube. I don't even need to have arguments against the claim that your God exists. I'm still waiting for the evidence that he exists in the first place. There is no such evidence. And you defined your God so horrendously vague that even science cannot help us. Yes, even science, which is the very best method we have to determine if something is true, cannot prove if a God exists or not. That is not a science problem, it's a God problem. He cannot make himself detectable, despite supposedly being all-powerful, and there being no evidence for the existence of your God. You think that's a bad reason to not believe in your God? Then, as of now, your own reasoning will burden you with starting to believe in vampires, wizards, fairies, Thor, Odin, Harry Potter, etc., because they all share that same property with your God. None of them can be proven by science. I don't understand why there still are these excited little theist men confidently proclaiming this kind of nonsense while it only takes a minute of Googling to understand that this silly argument has been debunked 1,000 times. It's so stupid. Science not being able to prove the existence of some supposed being is, in fact, a very good reason for not believing in that being. Because if science cannot detect this being, then what can? Theists have given us nothing to solve this problem for the past thousands of years. There is no alternative method to determine what is true. Science is all we have. and it works darn good. And if it's not good enough for you, and you believe in your God anyway, despite the lack of scientific evidence for his existence, then good luck with believing in vampires and wizards, because your argument puts vampires, wizards, and gods in the same lineup of non-proven characters. And all the while, I'm still waiting for you to explain this supposed lie that atheists supposedly believe. Never mind, you will never produce that. Thanks for watching.